Hi, this is Steph Meister here. So just want to make this video, just on the build that I'm using. First up, obviously the new season of the Splicer is out, and with it comes a new artifact, which is the Paradrome Cube. And with the Paradrome Cube, obviously there are a whole slew of different mods and stuff that you can use. But I'll be focusing very much on this build, which I've been using for my hunter, which is pretty much a Warmind cell generator. As you can see, I've got that Iclos SMG, the ever faithful Warmind cell generator. But there's a twist to it because for this season of the Splicer, if you take a look, at the Paradrome Cube, you've got a new mod which is called Energy Accelerant. And what Energy Accelerant does is for 2 energy cost, you can basically put this Energy Accelerant mod in your class item, and essentially your Dragonfly, Chain Reaction, and Firefly explosions deal more damage. And that's good because for the season of the Splicer, there are a lot more weapons, especially new weapons with the chain reaction spec. Like for example, the Code Dweller you notice here, I've got a good roll. It's an impulse amplifier. It's got chain reaction on it. If you take a look at corrective measure, a new machine gun that drops off, if I'm not mistaken, the new Vault of Glass 2.0 raid, I guess. So it's got dynamic sway reduction and Firefly, right? So I've been testing this out. So I also have Memory Interdict, which is the new grenade launcher, which also has impulse amplifier and chain reaction as well. So with this mod that I've placed in here, Energy Accelerant, it basically boosts whatever Dragonfly, chain reaction, and Firefly explosions that basically comes out of the said weapon. So how this build basically works is that I've got usually the base of it really, I like to pair this up with the young Ahamkara spine. So it's essentially a blade barrage build with trip mines, and then using the young Ahamkara spine gauntlets, it just boosts up your trip mines. So trip mines become really useful. It's super deadly, destroys stuff. Huge explosions, generates wall mine cells as well. So I really like using the young Ahamkara spine. So with it, my base build generally is the hunter subclass, the gunslinger subclass. I've got my trip mine obviously for the young Ahamkara spine, as I said earlier, the gauntlets. You'll be using the Mitri, the blade barrage, right? Where there's blade barrages here. You've got the knife trick, the burning edge. You've got playing with fire, and I like that when you use this Mitri of the Solar class, it pairs very well with young Ahamkara spine, because if you take a look, the Wish Dragon Teeth perk increases trip mine, grenade duration, and blast radius. So your trip mine grenade turns into this huge explosion, instead of that puny little explosion for a normal trip mine. And the ability damage grants trip mine grenade energy. And what is this links to, this ability damage, is essentially these throwing knives, which is the ability damage. So every time you throw a knife trick and it hits the enemy, it refreshes your grenade, and you throw the grenade, which again fuels your grenade refresh. So you just constantly keep on doing it in an endless cycle. So it's great, especially if you take a look at the new mods that we have, like Ashes to Assets. You gain bonus super energy and grenade skills, which again ties up to the trip mine. I've got 2 Ashes to Assets, if you notice, just for double. I'm not sure whether it works, but to me it seems to work very, very well. I get a lot of refresh and a lot of utility from this. Then we move on to our gloves, young Ahamkara spine. I basically put the momentum transfer in there, because momentum transfer really helps. I got a good young Ahamkara spine with arc energy. So this is this arms mod is available. So what happens is that whenever I throw a grenade, it reduces my melee cooldown. And my melee cooldown basically is the knives that you throw over here. So again, it pulls back. I throw more grenades, I throw more knives. Each grenade I throw, I get my knife ability. I throw my knife ability, I get my grenades. So it's an endless cycle. So that's a huge amount of utility that I get. I put on the new mod, which is the blast radius. Blast radius basically says it rapidly defeating multiple combatants with grenade launchers or rocket launchers makes you become charged with light. And being charged with light is great, but you need to use something to expend the charge of light. So I normally pair it with the new ArgentOrdnance that's available this season. So when I'm charged with light, this mod will then, as you can read, while charging with light, readying or firing a rocket launcher grants it increased damage and reload speed. So when you damage a combatant with a rocket, it consumes the stack of charge with light. And what it does is, when you're charged with light, and if you quickly switch to your rocket launcher, you will notice a new buff, and the buff is called God Slayer Warhead or something like that. I can't remember, but what I understand is that for a short period of time, when you do switch to your rocket launcher, you get this 20% damage buff, which also stacks up, considering you have the energy accelerant, here, where your Dragonfly chain reaction, Firefly explosions deal more damage. And I'm obviously using a Code Duello, a rocket launcher with impulse amplifier and chain reaction. So how I normally pair this up with is I've got this grenade launcher. I shoot, I kill multiple enemies, I get charged with light, my thing is boosted, I can use the rocket launcher, boom, a huge devastation, massive aspects, and there's huge splash damage and massive explosion. So it in the end may generate even more Warmind cells. Go on to the 3 staple mods that you need for a Warmind cell. Of course, you will need the global reach, and essentially global reach will enable your Warmind cells to be created, and it affects damage targets at a greater distance. This makes your Warmind cell be able to destroy whole rooms and clear out entire places. So it's really, really good utility. I normally pair it with the Rage of the Warmind. You will need, for the Rage of the Warmind, it's a pretty expensive mod. It is a solar mod. You will need 5 energy costs. So I normally, I am lucky enough to have several pieces of solar gear. So I've slotted 5 energy costs into it, and I think it's well worth it. So I've added the Rage of the Warmind in there, so it adds a bit of additional solar damage to the explosions of the Warmind cells, which when you do explode a Warmind cell, will create further Warmind cells, and that's great. And of course, you need the Wrath of Rasputin, because solar splash damage, then final blows have a chance to create even more Warmind cells. So I'm lucky to have this cloak, which also is a solar cloak, and it has bomber, and it further reduces my grenade cooldown when I'm using my class ability. So when I do dodge, it also reduces my grenade cooldown. I've placed the energy accelerant in there because in your new Paradrome cube, obviously I've selected the rocket launcher scavenger. You'll need the ArgentOrdnance, as I said earlier. It pairs up this with blast radius. See, as you can see, by rapidly defeating multiple combatants with grenade launchers or rocket launchers. So I've armed myself with grenade launchers and rocket launchers. I've got Ashes to Assets, which I've put on my helmet, my headgear, and the energy accelerant. So these are the key mods that you probably need. So let's just see how this build works. Let's just probably do a lost sector or something, like a public event, and get it out of the way. All right, so Let's just test this build out. What I like about this season is that the ArgentOrdnance with the blast radius combo now adds more lethality to your grenade launchers and your rocket launchers, which is already ridiculous. So you can imagine Warmind cells are being generated. That's already ridiculous. Exploding Warmind cells, which create even further Warmind cells, and then now on top of that, you've boosted you know, your rocket launchers and your grenade launchers. So this is just a great combo, really. So everything about this build is explosive. It's purely solar, so everything will be like exploding. There'll be flames everywhere. So if you like me, love to just create a whole scene of just fire and destruction, this is a great build to run for your hunter. Right, so I'm just going to show you a little bit of the gameplay. Let's just go over to maybe a lost sector, and then maybe, ooh, there's a flag. So let me just grab a flag, and maybe I can show you how I would set up. Okay, so I normally switch to my grenade launcher, just so that I can see whether there's multiple kills. Oh, that's fine. I can use my Aglos. Whoop, see, well, there you go. Warm myself. Boom. So that's the Warmind cell expect. Okay, I'm charged with light. The Godslayer warheads. Notice? So as long as the Godslayer warhead buff is up, essentially you get 20% damage on the rocket launcher that you shoot. However, from what I understand, this damage only applies to rockets shot at not normal mobs, but at champions and above, like yellow bars, you know. So hey, I mean, I'm not complaining. So obviously you wouldn't want to use your heavy, you know, just routine kind of. Okay, a yellow bar like that. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, let's go. There we go. Wait, what? Whoa! I just destroyed it. Okay, wow, that was unexpected. Yeah, I just destroyed a mini boss with one shot. Rocket with Godslayer warhead. So yeah, it's working very, very well. Ooh, much better than I expected though. I did not count on that. That was a bit over the top. Okay. Oh, see another Warmind cell over there. I'll just blow it up, just for fun. Dodge. I get back my grenade. Oh, and I got back my knives as well. So, okay, now let's do the Warmind combo. Okay, throw. Whoop, okay, got back my grenades. Throw my trip mines. Boom. Oh, guess what? Warmind cell generated. Okay, multiple enemies. Okay, I'm charged with light. Okay, is there a yellow bar I can... What's this on? No? Oh, no. Wow, look at a huge explosion. Okay. Okay. Bam, okay. Trip mines activated. Boom. Okay, reload. Daggers back. So this is constant pool of trip mine blades, trip mine knives, you know. And then see, I got, just throwing that, I just got back my okay, so that's just okay, loads of okay, let me just got one charge of light. Oh, horribly sorry about that. Oh, okay, charge of light too. I wonder how many times I can stack charge of light. Any more? No? Okay. Alright. Okay. Got this one. Okay, let's test it out. Bam! There you go. One shot of the boss. Woo! So that's my explosive build. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, signing off. Maybe I'll just, if you want to stay on, I'll just be just completing this lost sector just to show you a little bit of gameplay. Wow, that was quick. You can expect to kill the boss that quick as well. Alright, done. Woo-wee. That was great. Wow, one shot. I like the way that how ArgentOrdnance, buffs up, and the charge of light, the combos that interplay with all the things, and then you can basically destroy mini bosses with one shot of your rocket. Yeah. So hope you enjoy it. Try out the build. Thanks. See ya.